I hope when we leave here today, everyone in class will agree that our UMC has started a new chapter. And her Bible study, Pat's Bible verse, was perfect for what we're going to talk about today. We shouldn't be anxious about the budget. We shouldn't be anxious about who's going to be the new pastor. We should pray about it. I want to encourage everybody. We've got most of the lay leadership of the church here.
Oh, we do.
So, is Bill going to show up? Oh, sorry, Bill.
He used to wear glasses,
Yeah.
so you don't recognize
Right,
him.
yeah,
Especially when I stand next to Richard.
yeah. Bill Lyle, the lay leader of the church. We've got Charles Curtis, trustees, spends all the money. Bob Howard. Bob's going to be the person you ask the most questions of. I'm going to come to Richard because he instigated this. We have Melanie Booker, who is the head of Finance Committee, and we have Richard, who was thrown off the Finance Committee and found a home on SPRC.
I'm over well.
We all should be. I mean, this is the lay leadership of the church. When you look up servant leader in the dictionary, their pictures are there. So, your goal is, if you've ever said out loud, I wish they would tell us more about what's going on in the church. Or if you've ever said to yourself, they never tell us anything until it's done. Now's your time to ask. Bob's going to start off talking about whatever you want to talk about, the process of selecting a new senior minister. So I thought I'd prime the pump a little bit, because we're going to start off talking about the process and the characteristics of the new minister, but I want to jump straight to expectations. Now, my expectation of the new minister is pretty middle of the road type of expectation. I think the new minister should be all things to all people. And I think the new minister should be capable of performing small miracles. Now, my biggest worry, and I'm a little anxious about this, is how do we get the rest of the congregation not to get extreme with their expectations? Because this person's human like we are. So, Bob, will you answer those questions and more?
It's kind of different being behind this thing. I usually like to walk out and about, but I'm guessing for everybody to hear, I need to be back here, right?
Yep.
If you're on Zoom, and we're on Zoom.
Okay.
Is that good? You're going to have to share that as a...
Okay. Wow. To start with my life verse before I get to come up. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the most important about this is, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and mind in Christ Jesus. I don't know that I can blessed with you guys starting with a verse like that, right? But if you don't mind, if we could just take a quick moment to prayer, okay? Dear God, let your thoughts be our thoughts. Let the Holy Spirit come into our heart, mind, and soul. And please give us the strength to do your will. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. All right, who saw the video that we did? Everybody see? Most people see? Okay. All right. We tried to get that out. We tried to do this in front of the church for a couple weeks. And we got blocked by the weather. So it turned in that we couldn't do it in front of the church, and that we were really, it was a matter of doing it via video. As Vince set those very minor goals and objectives of our new minister, our goal is full transparency on everything we've got going on, everything that we know, There's not a question you can ask that I won't try to answer, and I tell you what I know about it, right? We started this process, Tom and I, back probably mid last year, of him thinking, does he want to retire? Does he want to stay? And we were into conversations because we needed to have planning time, whether or not if he does retire or not, right? There was no decision by Tom, but we always wanted to be ahead of the curve so that we could start planning for things that were going on, all right? Tom came at the end of last year and said, okay, through my prayer, through my time, I think this is the time. And we shared and got into meetings with our staff parish relations committee, which are y'all familiar with, right? That's, I think we talked about before, but it's kind of the HR with our senior ministers. And in my career, the department I liked working with the least was HR. So God made it very clear that that should be the role that I take, right? So we started working with them and talking through, and then from there we've got our committee together and really trying to look at what is the process, what are the attributes, what are the key things, who are we as RUMC, right? And then who are we shared with the district superintendent to others, then to make sure that we get a good blend. In the Methodist Church, the bishop and her group on the cabinet is who truly make the decision on the appointments, right? And there's been some times in the recent past that the bishops have kind of just done that on their own. Okay, they just said this is what's going to be. From my first meeting with the district superintendent, he came to me. Wasn't going to him, and he said, "We need your feedback, and we want to talk to you a lot." And he shared. He says, "Look, in the past in the Methodist Church, we would have a lot of consultation going on between the church and the bishop and the staff on what is the best fit. We went through a phase where that didn't happen. And we're in a phase that we really want it to happen again. So we have had I've had numerous conversations. We've had the district superintendent here in conversations on what are we looking for in a minister. And the process that we're now going under, which I shared a little bit, is that we're in the phase of giving feedback. And we're in the phase of getting feedback of what do we think as a church is what we're looking for in a senior minister, right? We have about 10 more days to be able to give that feedback. Because on the 22nd of February, the bishop and the cabinet will go into meetings for 5 days to look at making appointments. Right? So they'll be going into prayer and looking how the appointments are going to be made. After that, they'll be getting with me and the committee in that first couple weeks of March to kind of say, hey, here's who we think is going to be your minister. From there, we will come back to the church and make that announcement on the 22nd of March is the time of we will then know who our new minister is going to be. Right? They talk about being a very, 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 very small chance that something could change. The odds of anything changing after the 22nd for this church would be very, very, very small because we're at the top of who they're going to appoint. We've been spending a lot of time. When they look at it, for the bishop, this is her most important appointment, for what's going on. From the size of the church, the value of what we bring to the conference, I mean, everybody's important, but we are in one of those top 4 churches that really this is important for them to get it right. And it's important for them. After the 22nd, we will then have the minister will be on and off campus at times. They're scheduled to meet people, to get familiar with the staff and lay out, okay, here where we come. And they will preach from the pulpit. I think it's the 12th, the second Sunday in July. As part of the video, we'll have time to celebrate Tom on the 14th of June with Vacation Bible School. So we'll have a bunch of people here to really have a send-off for it. And we're going to have a celebration for the new minister on the 12th We're going to have one service and have the new minister on an indoor celebration and ability to kind of get to know.
Which 12?
July 12th. Right. June 14th, Tom's send off. July 12th will be where we're going. Truly, I am open to key things y'all think we need in a senior minister. And Jim, I'll be glad to do that. We've got a lot of things, but Jim put something together. He said, hey, you may want to read this because this might give you some feeling for what's going on in class. But I'm going to read what Jim had it. Boswell. Jim Boswell. Okay. He said, we need a person that can think outside the box. We need a person that can do more with and for people than preach 20 minutes on Sunday. We need a person that can put together a strong staff and can work with those individuals to build an outstanding leadership team. We need a person who will show up on Wednesday night, dinners from time to time, serve a meal, give a talk, sit with members, get to know membership on a personal basis. We need a person that would enjoy working with the youth from time to time, going to the dot and getting to know young people on a personal basis. And we should consider a person that has been involved with another career, has some knowledge of running a business, and later decided to enter to the ministry. Okay? Really good feedback, in my opinion. All right?
Bob,
Yes, sir.
add to that list energy. We need a senior minister that is really going to be actively involved. Everybody's going to know that person. We've had 3 ministers retire in place. And I'd rather not have somebody that's right on the verge of retirement, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We want somebody that is really charged up, because the congregation will respond, including all of these old people in here. We will respond to somebody that is charged up.
I call this class mature. That other word doesn't seem to work very well.
Experience.
Yeah, experience.
Gray hairs.
But to your point, I can tell you that that message has been sent to the district superintendent. And the answer that we've gotten back is they're not looking to bring somebody to retire.
Good deal.
Okay? He even said, this would be interesting for me, but I would be the district superintendent. This would be something. This is a wonderful church. I'd love to be. But the picture is, I'm going to retire too soon. It doesn't fit me. We need somebody that's got at least 10 years that is going to be looking at growing with the church.
But we've got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
A sanctuary that is beautiful and plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah.
To me, it would be just an excellent opportunity for a fired up minister to come in and say, hey, look, I want to be a part of this congregation. Okay.
No. No, we've expressed your thought,
Good deal.
right? That we need somebody that we have so much. I mean, and we talk about it a little bit of. I mean, I recommend you watch a little bit. I was over at the 9 o'clock service. We have Alter Your Life going on. It wasn't as exciting as when I walked into this room. But there was a tremendous amount of energy and excitement and chills that were going on. So I recommend going online if anybody does and just watch some of that beginning of that service. It was terrific. But somebody said over 250 kids that are here, and I think about 30% of them to 40% of them are kids that haven't been here at church, that have been recruited in and are excited to come here to be part of this. I mean, our youth ministry is doing tremendous. We're growing in the children's ministry. It's
Chapel
growing.
Roswell is growing.
Right. Our young adults are growing. We are blessed with a church that's ready to go. Right?
That's my message.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hope you do too. Yes, sir.
So it's nice to see you young folks getting involved. But I think you can sum it up very easily. We need another Malone Dodson.
He was young. Well, he was young when he came up. He was 40s, right? Wasn't he in his 40s? That's what we need.
I don't think there's ever another Malone Dotson. But I understand the message.
Sir?
Yes.
In line with what you said about needing somebody to have a business background, we need somebody who understands the value of a vital, challenging, well-planned capital campaign. It doesn't just start today when you walk up and get your envelopes. It starts 5 or 6 weeks earlier with, a lot of people involved. It's a real plum job to be in charge of that capital campaign because of labor. And where people are, from year to year, they're buying better than the last thing in the capital campaign. We need to get some real money.
All right, so,
Can you repeat that?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So the statement slash question slash statement was that we need somebody who will plan for and get us excited about giving. That said capital campaign, but to tie it down to me, all the things, Tom, that we talked about, the great stuff we have going on, we got a hole, guys. I mean, and they'll talk about it a little bit, but from an operating mentality, we're a $6 million really to do all the things that we want to do, and we give at $4.4 million. All right, so there's a gap, and my hope and prayer is being on the SPRC is that maybe God gets into some of you guys' hearts. I mean, I'm going all over the church. This isn't a message just for you. I was at choir on Wednesday night. But it gets into God's heart so that maybe we can get the giving up a little bit so the new minister does not have to face one of the first challenges coming in is, hey, we're short on money. Because we're giving 4.4. I said we're 6. We're 5.1. If we don't make 5.1, we're making cuts. Okay? We're going to have to cut stuff out. Right? That's the straightforward, transparent to you. They'll talk more about it. But that's what's going to happen is if we don't get to there. We have the faith. When Melanie laid out the finance committee, we kept the faith of our budget to keep it at the 5.1. But we're not there yet. But that's the prayer. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to suggest that we start building again on the singles that are right out of college, young career people. We used to have a very, very strong group. In fact, we have people in here that met in that singles group and got married. That's how many years. I can see a couple of us of the people around right now. Those are the people we need to get that will build the church in the future.
Chapel in Roswell is full of them.
They're building on their careers. It's very difficult here in Roswell because it's so expensive for them to live.
Mm-hmm.
But we can do it. And remember, we have the new church down on Johnson Ferry, Shaliford Road, that is being built. If we don't take care of this singles group, they're going to. And
Okay.
there goes another group.
Yep. I'll come to you, but yeah.
Yeah, what implication of one of the things you said was that the minister needed to have at least 10 years. I would just say that if you selected a minister who had 10 years to retirement, that person is already too old.
Yes,
Somebody younger, dynamic. We don't need somebody with 10 years to go. We need somebody young.
Okay.
And you're not considering any interims, am I understanding that correctly?
Have a interim pastor? No, we're
Good.
yeah.
I certainly agree with all these things that have been said about running the church, money, and all this sort of thing. But it's been a long time since I have really been inspired by a sermon. I think we need a dynamic speaker who can really stir our hearts.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to mention, I know you've talked about, or someone did mention, the person has to be a be-all for everything. So I just wanted to add one more thing.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, I've been involved with a couple of community activities, and our presence was non-existent. Non-existent from our ministerial staff, where other churches had. So I would appreciate if someone in this new role thinks about how we be present in our community around here, that I think we were so critical in starting and supporting for many years. And now we may only, stand back and support, where a face there, I think, makes a huge difference of someone representing our church. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Should we add to the list someone with recruiting background? In other words, how do you grow a campaign? Someone with the ability to outreach, someone with the ability to grow your population. You need someone who has a recruitment background. You need someone who is aware of the tools that are available to recruit new members to the church. That person needs to have a working grasp of all social media. It needs to be embraced. It needs to be modernized. The Facebook page needs to be brought up to current levels. You need to get involved. That person needs to be an active social media recruiter. That's the future of this church.
What I heard is an improved communication process to reaching out, to be able to
We need someone who knows more than just a mouse and a click.
Yes, sir.
Actually, in this new era of AI, would be kind of somebody who at least he recognizes it, and because there's a lot of things that you'll get left behind if you don't embrace it.
Yeah. What was that? AI, the ability and to use artificial intelligence to look at for assets, resources, and growing in knowledge. Right. We would prefer them not to do it with their sermons, so. Yeah.
I would just like to have someone that would participate with our classes. I mean, we have some parties and get-togethers and things, and the ministers are invited, and very rarely do they show.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I mean, how do you get to know everybody if you don't see them on a small town basis?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Roger and Gail Davis aren't here today, so she
How is
sent
he
me
doing? Because I got a little feedback, but I didn't get it.
He's
enough.
doing okay. He has a feeding tube in, and hopefully they'll be home Monday, she said. And I think his spirits are good, and he's doing as well as expected if you have a feeding tube in your stomach.
Right.
He's doing well.
Okay,
But
thank
anyway, she said this, so I'm going to read it. So, okay. How much emphasis will the minister selected have on evangelism, Christian education, and volunteer ministry, which they say are seriously lacking? Will the new minister be involved in the everyday life of the church? And also, I have one as well.
I got to go
You wanna
here.
answer that first?
Oh, no.
Or do you
Okay, I'm just.
I'm sorry.
I try to have some fun
I
with
know,
this
I'm
too.
sorry. And you'll know where I'm coming from when I ask this question. Stand back.
I got a lot on Wednesday night, so I'm not sure that it's going
All
to.
right. I do want a vibrant, new, younger, not youngish, but younger guy in the pulpit. Somebody's going to blow my hair back when I sit in the pew. But I also want traditional values. And how much influence does the bishop have in this appointment? I want her to not mess in my, if you want to, and you know where I'm coming from.
Let's see how the bishop has full control. Let's just go straight with that, right? All right. But also you got to look at how they have been communicating with us, and the faith that I have based off that communication. They have been asking us over and over what we're looking for. Now, I think I know what you think I understand. We've made it very clear that we do not want a political minister. We do not. We are a church that is very diverse in thought, right? But we pull together to go toward the future. And we laid out that that's not what we want. And I think that was taken very well. It went further than that I'll be glad to talk about offline if you guys want. But it went pretty hard in some of the things that you're asking about. Yes, ma'am.
Is the bishop allowed to pull preachers in from other conferences, or does it have to be a preacher that's currently on?
She can pull from wherever. Odds on, it'll be from Georgia. Yeah, because we used to be two conferences, a North Georgia and a South, and we will be either next year a Georgia conference or shortly therein a Georgia conference. They're all meeting together. The ministers, the district superintendents and stuff are meeting as a group, especially the district superintendents and higher are meeting as one.
They can't pull from somebody outside of the state of Georgia, though.
They can, but they can. Odds on, she will, from her knowledge base, and actually, from what I believe, we have a lot of good candidates for, right, that she'll probably pull from Georgia.
My question was, that was when you just said that, you know, the level in which our senior minister is different than say, a Ben Mayfield, okay?
Yeah.
So you've got to have, is there a pool of ministers that are available that are experienced but yet young and vibrant? I mean, seriously, you know what I'm talking about? You know, like whether they have their doctorate or not, that's not that important to me. But the fact that the matter is, you've got to have somebody that really knows the good Lord, but also knows church business, but also is vibrant. Now, you try to put all three of those things together,
Yeah.
and are there that many people that could do that for us?
Yeah, and they're a family person that's always available for the church.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
They're at everything, but they're spiritually recharged by their time alone.
I just feel like there's not that many available that might, you know, that's my.
Yeah, and how I'd answer that is, we want energy. If age is, I know we're going to say, oh, I want young, but we want energy. Somebody that's coming in, that's vibrant, as you put, that can take us from where we are today, because we've got a great foundation, and going forward. I believe there's several good candidates in that piece.
That was my question. How many are there enough candidates for us to select from?
I believe so, and we've been shared with, because I tap danced around trying to get some points across, but, you know, what is the priority of our, you know, getting ministers? Because other people want ministers also.
They want the same thing we want.
Right, and the viewpoint is that we should be the number one on the list. We've done some things to make sure that we look the most attractive for a new minister.
Yeah, with everything paid for, that helps.
It does.
I'd like to give some comfort to the lady in the front who's concerned about the bench. I typically go to the chapel. We've had 4 ministers in the chapel, all of which are excellent, which suggests to me that we, within the Methodist Church, do have a deep bench out there to select from. I think we need, as I said before, I would like a younger minister. But anyway, I'm confident that we can find one within the group that we already have in the Georgia Conference.
Yeah. Thanks.
I think we got 30 minutes or so.
What is the fastest
Well,
growing church in the conference right now?
I don't know. I mean, I do not know that answer. I can tell you from all the feedback of what we have going on in the Methodist Church, we're in some of the best situations. A lot of them, unfortunately, are taking on and living with debt, and disaffiliation was not a wonderful thing for the Methodist Church in Georgia. Yes, sir.
Bob, how competitively, talking about with the other congregations, is our salary in keeping with the kind of person we want to come?
It is now.
It is.
It was not.
It was not.
It was not. So if we're a top 4, our salary is more like 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah. Our salary did not fit tying into our amount of giving or our attendance.
Okay.
So, as a committee, as with finance and such, we looked at it and said, hey, we need to do something, and we did. We took things, we have done everything we can do that so far, and if there's more that somebody comes up with, we'll look at doing that too. We've done everything we can do to make us the most attractive church for a candidate.
How many senior ministers are there in the conference already?
You mentioned the top four. Are we the fastest growing of this top four churches in our conference? I mean, are you going by budget, or are you going by attendance or membership, or?
A lot of it goes by attendance, right? A lot of it goes by what is their giving, right? Because that's a sign of vibrant churches that are out there. And those two things, we're definitely there. I think there's a bunch of things you could look at as how to measure it, but that's probably the top pieces. And it goes 4, and there's about another 4 that are, not far behind, and then it gets a significant drop.
Well, you mentioned our leadership. I mean, and the fact that we are growing in so many areas, like children's ministry. It's just and young couples obviously coming into church, so that's got to be attractive to a pastor that's up and coming, obviously, but mature, very mature, and willing to take on the challenge and the opportunities, if you will, that are here.
What I'm hearing, and it's not, there's nobody calling me, right? That's not the process for it. But the feedback I get is there's a lot of calls of ministers wanting to come here. Right? So they look at that. There's people that are interested in here. I mean, on Wednesday, Jim talked about Wednesday night, right? We brought the district superintendent on a Wednesday night, and he saw this mass of kids and people and out on the commons, and they were like, "Whoa!" Right? That's not what you're seeing in other churches. I wish it was, right? And in my conversations of what we're looking for, and he goes, we don't have that. We're trying to figure out why Roswell has youth and younger, right, members coming to it. And one of the people on our committee is from Guys Gardner's, Morgan Tesson, who's from that age group and in that growth piece. And they're not sure why what it is, but they do have a feeling that it ties into they faced COVID. And they were with their young kids at COVID, and they didn't have a family environment. And this church is giving them a family environment with like-minded people that they can come and live life together with.
Good deal.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a commercial. This is off the subject of your subject, but the kitchen, they are heroes. That is a mission. Wednesday night and all.
I totally agree.
Heroes.
Thank you, Claudia. I was going to do that. Y'all need in your budget, up the kitchen budget.
No, we need a new endowment for the kitchen.
Okay.
There's not anybody in the country, but in the world that can do what these
Get the
guys.
finance lady up here.
We have a great
That's good.
I'm writing that down.
One of my observations, because we moved here from the West Coast about 10 years ago, is that not only are we diverse in our opinions and our backgrounds, but we're diverse from a lot of parts of the country. And I don't know if that's true for some of the other churches. I mean, I know a lot of people are moving, but I kind of think that that's where our world is now. People are expected to move or do move for their jobs. And I think we're appealing because you could sit with somebody and find out that they lived in Louisiana like we did, or they lived in California, or they lived in DC. And I think that that's a huge way for us to show we're welcoming to anybody. But I think, in my view, our leadership should have a diverse experience in their own background that took them, perhaps, out of Georgia. Doesn't mean they can't. It's fine if they came back, but I think that those individuals kind of speak across a broader group of people, and I would appreciate if you all would add that little factor in, because I think we've got some great opportunities probably here in Georgia. I mean, I remember a former minister we had here who told us some of the most hilarious stories of when he was a minister in Texas. A guest minister we had here who told about his experiences in being in Mississippi, and then he went to California or Arizona. And I mean, so it's those are all things that people who live other places really appreciate to see too. So.
Yeah. Go Tigers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to make one comment for the committee.
Yeah.
We have two great weapons here. One is called Ben, one is called Jared.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
two
Don't
people
get
need
married.
to be protected when you go through a reorganization. Those two people have worked so hard to get young people to this church. Many of us attend Chapel Roswell on a regular basis. It is so inspiring to see young people coming to our church. But we need to protect people like Ben and Jared, because in the last 10 years that we've been members, we've seen so many changes at the chapel that they don't have an opportunity to really build long-term. People need to identify that those two, when you go through all this reassignment, let's not lose them. Be careful.
Yeah, so a little, yeah, I would tell you that, I like you said, we believe we've built a very good staff, right? She said it, and yeah, but overall, I think we built a very good staff. Now, you didn't ask it, but I'm going to answer something that I think ties into that, is I went to the district superintendent and said, okay, we got Tom leaving, you're not going to touch our other ministers, correct? Correct? He goes, oh no, we're absolutely not. We're not making any other changes.
I hope you got that in writing.
I can keep going, but if you want to hear from, right? Okay. All right. And I guess y'all will get it. But seriously, if anybody has any further questions, comments, you can either get to the church, or you can, my email is bobhowardlsu@yahoo.com. Yeah, I graduated from LSU. Yes, sir.
We haven't touched upon this subject. We have a very beautiful campus. We have a great resource that we put a lot of money into that's not being utilized fully. We need to make the community aware that we have this most beautiful commons and we can do so much with it, but we haven't. And we spent all this money for it, and we need to utilize it to the growth and benefit of the church.
Well, that comes with the minister being involved in the community.
Well, if you give me just about 2 minutes left, I don't know how many people know of the site, the Babylon Bee, but it's very satire, joking kind of things that they put out. And within the last 2 weeks, they put out the key characteristics of a senior minister. Okay? And I'm just going to give you a few. I'm not going to give you their whole top 10. But the first one they put out that I think is important is the ability to pull out a good Greek or Hebrew word now and then. It makes them sound like they know something about the Bible, even if they don't. Okay? Willingness to work for what ends up being approximately $2.50 an hour. It's not like they need to eat every day. Doesn't tell the congregation to turn to their neighbors and repeat something more than once per sermon. Once is enough. Willingness to preach boldly against sins you don't personally commit. He can keep his trap shut when it comes to things you struggle with. Right? And then last one for it is must be friendly and always available, but not up in your business. What you do on Monday through Saturday is your business. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
your shoe.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Melanie's coming next.
You know, California's trying to ban that one. Yeah.
And I'm headed to another Sunday school class, so enjoy.
I'll have a good time.
All right.
Good morning. Happy to be here. My name is Melanie Booker. I have just recently taken over the Finance Committee chair from Richard. I'm very excited about that. I'm a 30-year IBMer, so I live here in Roswell, work full-time, travel all over the U.S. I used to travel globally for about 7 years for IBM. And again, I'm here to answer any questions that you guys might have about the finance. We are excited, and again, what a great opportunity for me to take over Finance Committee where we are debt-free this year. Tremendous work from the church to think about paying off the commons in 2025. And Team Marion and her, again, the staff, as we said, we can't say enough about the staff, about the kitchen. 93% of the budget in 2025. So again, think of how tremendous that is. Now they took, and again, it isn't sustainable to continue to take from different parts of the business to ensure that we're, funding missions and all of the things that we fund. So we are here today asking for some help and to give you guys an update. And John, we're very blessed to have John on our Finance Committee again this year. So thank you for being able to, we've worked together, for the past 3-4 years on Finance Committee. But team, I did want to give you guys a couple of updates. So from a pledge perspective right now, and this is as of last week, we are sitting at $2.75 million in pledges. And just to give you a viewpoint, for this time last year, we were about $2.89 million on pledges. So we're a little bit behind where we need to be. And as Bob mentioned, our budget this year is $5.1 million, and we do need to get those pledges up to $3.2 million. So in our budget, we have pledges at $3.2 million to get us to the 5.1, which we believe we need to be. And again, we're at 2.75. So that's one area where we need some help. Our unpledged budget this year is $1.77 million, so that you guys know that.
How does that compare with previous years?
So very similar. So last year it was 2.78 and 1.6 for unpledged. So very, very similar. So we've increased it slightly. And a couple of things at the Finance Committee that we talked about last week and would love your input on this is we talked about, obviously, we need to think about a capital campaign, right? Do we need to be doing town halls around finance? Would that be helpful to provide opportunities to come meet with the Finance Committee in a town hall type of a setting versus just coming into Sunday school classes? I think Nancy Irwin is incredible about ways to give and tax advantage giving and things that you can look at. Even recently, like she and I had a conversation. Again, I'm a 30-year IBMer. I've been buying employee stock my whole life. And I'm like, why am I not, donating some of that? That's such an easy way, a tax, advantage saving for me to be giving my stock. But there's so many different things, and I think education that Nancy can come in and provide the church. And I love how someone said the youth, the younger people, just starting out, the things you can do from a tax advantage, how to save, different ways, start pledging, giving, would love to just figure out, I think, just a little bit more enablement that we could provide the church and any input that you guys have there. That was what I wanted to cover. Richard, anything else that you think we should talk about today?
Talk about how we finished 2025.
So, as you said, very exciting to be debt-free, and at 93%, again, from a budget standpoint, is really, really incredible based on all of the things that we were asking the ministry, the staff. And I know we're going to get Richard to come up and... no, I'm sorry, you're not going to come. No, you don't want to come up and talk anymore? All right, Richard. But yeah, I mean, under Richard's leadership, you guys, it's just an incredible year.
I think the relevant comparative numbers and correct me on these if you don't mind. In 2024, we finished the year, I believe, in the red by about $700,000.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
2025, we finished the year $44,000 in the black.
Yeah.
So we've gotten our arms around the spend in the church, which has required, as Melanie said, the reduction of operations to some degree. Our people on staff are doing 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So it's really not a sustainable place to be. But now we're in a place where we understand how to run the church responsibly and effectively. And we're poised, I think, to really, our trajectory is very exciting. Because we're at a place now where we know how to operate the church. We need another $1.5 million to do the things that I've been listening to you all saying, and I'm taking notes, by the way. Some of the things you've talked about are things like discipleship and evangelism. That stuff's super important, and it's personnel intensive.
It is.
And we don't have the personnel to do everything that we know we need to do. One of the things that I would really love for you all to do, and that is to not think about where we are today. I think we're poised at a place right now where it's time to dream. And I mean that very sincerely. We're going to be doing things in the next years that we didn't know we were going to be doing because we're in such good shape. We've got so many young people here. We have new leadership coming up at the senior pastor level. We have very effective clergy now that are staying. So it's time to dream. And it's not time to think about how we're going to get by with what we're doing. It's time to think about what we're being called to do. And we're in such great shape to do that now.
I have a question for you.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Vince?
How much unfunded liability do we have?
State your question a different way.
How many roofs, how many air conditioners, how much electrical, how much plumbing is worn out and already needs to be replaced?
I'll let
We'll let Charles come up. Come on up,
I
Charles.
can tell you our youngest building is 25 years old.
Melanie.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
Simple
Yes.
question that I've never heard the answer to.
Okay.
What % of our annual revenue goes to apportionments?
What percentage? What percentage goes to apportionments?
257,000 last year, roughly
It moves, but it's about 5%.
Last year was about 257,000, and that's about 4.5%, something like that. I mean, you can look on there, but I'm pretty sure that's a.
Yeah, I see.
What's the word? Goes to what?
Apportionments.
What is, can you help define that?
So that's, yeah, to be a part of the United Methodist Church. Yeah.
It's it's what we pay to the North Georgia Conference, and it's based on membership. Every church has an apportionment that they pay to the North Georgia Conference.
Do we meet our obligation? Do we
For
meet-
apportionments?
Yes.
Yes.
We do.
We met it, and yeah, it's yes.
It's still based on membership?
If I get it wrong, I'm
I thought it was based on budget.
What have I got here?
Just put it around your neck.
Okay.
I thought it was based on budget.
It's based on a number of factors.
There you go. I just put it around my neck. Yeah, there you go.
And it's different from what it was.
You have a question back here.
I don't have a good answer, exact specifics, but it's based on a number of different components of operations of the church. And it's being calculated differently than it was years ago,
Richard,
which is more favorable for us, by the way.
I got a
Yes.
question. This is not my original, I'm doing it for somebody else because they won't get up and ask it. It was actually in a conversation that came up last night. It's a very, I think, one that needs to be discussed. What percentage of our staff is part-time? And are we going to be able to get it into a more of a full-time position so that these people can be able to help that senior pastor?
Well, we have two. Are you asking about non-clergy?
I don't know the percentage to answer that question, but because of our budgetary issues, we are better off paying a part-timer than we would be full-time that includes full benefits. So I can get that answer for you. I'll make a note of doing so. Nancy has effectively retired, but she's staying with us, I believe, for 12 hours,
10 hours a week.
10 hours a week. So we have that kind of an operation going on. We have clergy that are technically part-time,
Like Jared.
but they work double time.
Yeah.
And again, that's where we're kind of working at a pace that might be unsustainable for the long haul. So we really need to take the 4.3 spend that we did in 25 and get that to 5.1. When we can get to 5.1, you're going to see a lot of really good things happening. There's an ulterior motive for the part-time clergy as well. When they are classified, and Bob would answer this better than I will, but when they're classified as part-time, they're flying under the radar a little bit in the Methodist Church. These are itinerant pastors, and they are subject to be told they're leaving our church. That's not going to happen to our part-time pastors.
I think we need to mention too that the foundation also helped us make that money last year.
Oh, absolutely.
$200,000 to
The
the
Commons.
to help pay that off.
And
Well,
signs.
You gave more than 200,000 from the foundation,
Well,
but the Commons pay off. The pump that was primed by the foundation contribution, and the church rallied behind that, and we're very, very grateful for that.
Well, I just think that's important for people to know that that wasn't in pledges or
No.
it was in money that, our families have
While we're
accumulated.
talking about the foundation, let me mention what we did last year.
Yep. Come on up,
So,
Charles.
While we're talking about the foundation, I made these are my notes, so I'm not prepared. But last year we did 3 major projects with the help of the foundation. We renovated the house that Ben lives in, 98 Magnolia Street. I hope you noticed, we improved the fellowship hall with paint and carpet, and improved lighting. And let's see, what was the third thing we did? Got to turn it this way. And we completed, I hope you've noticed, a new wayfinding signage project around campus.
Fabulous.
And so those 3 projects were funded. And I think those 3 projects totaled about $87,000 or $8,000, and we were able to do that with $83,000 from the foundation. And so the long-term maintenance account for the trustees only spent $5,000 on those projects. And so when you see those, we have the foundation to thank for that as well. One of our challenges is always, there was a question earlier, and I never got to answer it, I guess, but is managing long-term maintenance, capital maintenance projects, and capital improvement projects. And we're sorely underfunded for that. And the trustees do have a long-term maintenance account, and it hovers around $100,000 plus or minus. Well, when we have to replace the B building roof, which we did last summer, that cost $93,000, we don't have the money in the account. And in that case, we very fortunately received a designated pledge that paid $83,000 for it. And so it's constant. Marion and I are just always squeezing and pulling and doing all these things to figure out. And when something big really hits, we have to figure out what is the source of funding. I mentioned some of the things that we did last year, that took some of our resources. Another one was we had a water event in this building in the administrative offices on a Wednesday evening. I was fortunate to be here, and it was a big mess, and we spent about $20,000 out of our maintenance account cleaning that up. I mean, you have no options sometimes. Richard encouraged me to do this. I always feel like Debbie Downer because everybody talks, and I get up here and I'm the champion money spender, okay? The trustees are the champion money spender. I manage the design and construction of the Commons, so $2 million there, and then there's hundreds of thousands every year, and we have a what on the surface appears to be well-maintained campus, and it is, but some of the infrastructure behind things that you don't see, like last year, I think, in 2024, we had to replace the air conditioning systems in the Dodd. You know, $400,000. And you think, well, we survived that by spending money from reserves. Well, we're facing 3 issues in the near future, and I won't get into a lot of detail, but the city has notified us that we have to bring our detention pond on the south end of the big parking lot up to initial design standards, not today's current standards, but initial design standards. And we're working with an engineering firm now to figure out what that means, and what that means is unlikely to be less than $100,000. And we're probably going to be forced by the city to do that this year. And we didn't know about that until they notified us by letter in August of last year. So these things come up. We have 9 air conditioning units in the B building here that we're in that need to be replaced. And we're on Band-Aids now, and I don't know how long they'll last. It's like, I told Richard before, it's like, I could do a lot better retirement planning if somebody would tell me the day I'm going to die. Because that's the way air conditioning systems are. So we're planning ahead for that, but that's about a $400,000 project. And the Dodd is 30 years old now, 30 plus. It needs a new roof. And what the roof you see from the ground is not the real roof. That's called a mansard roof. It has asphalt shingles, and it's kind of steeply sloped. And yeah, on top of the porches, that's the real roof. It needs to be replaced. Every time we get a windstorm, shingles fly off, and it's not getting better. But behind that, on top of the second level, is a flat roof it has an EPDM. It's a membrane, and it needs to be replaced. It's 30 years old. The design life is 20 years. And you just go on, and it's. I don't know how to end the struggle. Send $2 million, and that will help.
I've got an end. No. We need a $10 million endowment that'll spin off $500,000 a year that he can go spend.
Well, we're at 7.8.
10 more.
But he doesn't get it all.
No, he means just.
We need a $10 million new endowment.
I mean, that's a big picture, long-term question, and many churches struggle with it. We're not the only, and nonprofits do too. Yeah. You can do a capital reserve study analysis. Tell yourself how much money you need to put in a capital reserve account every year, so you always have the money available when the project comes up. But then you have to have the money in your budget to fund the capital reserve account, and if you don't ever have the money to do that, there's no point in doing a new capital reserve analysis. So it's just a loop, and it's not new to me, and it happened when Richard was trustee chair, and it'll happen to the next one probably until there's some big picture solution, and that involves big money. Until then, we'll figure it out.
I think Annette has some things she wants to do, so we're going to get out of here. But I want to throw one more concept out that Bob didn't quite get to, but it's something we've talked about on SPRC, and it's something that we've talked about individually. We've got this spectrum. We've got this big church. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of staff. We got a big budget, big campus. Do we want a CEO pastor, or do we want a pastor?
Pastor.
And we have had.
Big question.
Yeah, it's a question that's kind of easy to answer initially, but we've developed a staff now. We have a what I'll call an executive pastor at the church now, and that's Marion. Marion's doing an incredibly good job of managing this church for us financially and otherwise. With an executive pastor that's that effective, that frees up a senior pastor to become our pastor.
Right on.
So I think I'm speaking for Bob, and I probably am going beyond where I should, but you should have confidence that we're positioned well. We're going to get the right person. This church is now structured in a way that frees that individual to be the pastor that you want him or her to be. So we're in good shape. Yes, Sean?
Richard, you have the right answer. We need to dream.
Yes.
People don't give money, additional money, to a budget.
I agree.
They will give to a program, something they want to be part of.
I tell you where I've realized that people give money, and it's very legitimate. People give money when they see lives change. And that's the business we're in. And we sometimes get so down in the weeds of paying for the electric bill or fixing a roof for Debbie Downer here. Shaw, if we dream, I believe truly that the Holy Spirit will empower us. This church will become the shining beacon that we should be and really are already in this community. Think about what that means to us here. Think about what that means to the community that doesn't even know we're here yet.
Richard, I don't know how many ladies in here were at the Galentine or whatever they called it last week, but there was over 200 ladies in there. And if you had seen the energy and the vibrance and the worshiping and going on in there, it was absolutely phenomenal.
The women's ministry is on fire.
Oh, it was just on fire. The
Usually when women's ministries get on fire, men's ministries are dragged along and they become on fire. So we have great prospects for both men and women's ministries. We're in a really great position as a church.
Yeah, it was
So it's time, Shaw, to dream.
One last question. Jim Ellers.
Pastors can be introverts or extroverts. I would suggest that our church needs an extroverted pastor.
We've spent a lot of time with the DS, and we talked in great deal about characteristics, and that one kept coming up. The word available kept coming up. That's a big word. It's available, like here. They're present, available. But they're also available to be contacted. They're also available when a need arises. They're available emotionally, that they're strong enough to handle a diverse congregation like we have here. But we've talked about all of those things. We don't know who we're going to get, but we were assured we're the first appointment that will be appointed. So we have the first draft pick. So after the bishop and her council make this decision, the other ones fall below us. And we were assured that we're going to get the best pastor available. You should feel good about that.
We do.
I'll add one thing to it, and then we'll let these people go. When we met, you can't hear me? When we met with the DS, we had one of the best church meetings that I've ever been a part of. And the reason was he was very open and honest. We did a lot of talking, everybody did a lot of talking, but we went around the room and the DS is a he.
The bishop is a she.
What's DS stands for? District Superintendent. We went around the room and we all talked to him about the characteristics we want and need as a church. And I would say we hit 100% of what was mentioned here.
Which means Superman is about to be appointed.
Yeah. And then he asked us what the characteristics of our church are. Okay? And I think we were pretty honest in our input to him, because we covered all the things. No debt, great campus, great staff, great support staff for him with the clergy and so forth. And when they came around to me, I said, well, I think our biggest characteristic is judgmental. And a couple of people in the class, their eyebrows went up. I said, but in a good way. I said, I'm in a class of 150 people, and I'm one of the youngsters. I said, everybody has been in a number of churches. Donna and I have been in at least 13, maybe 14. So we've seen good, we've seen bad, we've seen indifferent in our church adventure. I said, we need a person who's all things to all people and seasoned, because he, she, them will be given input in Christian love, but they will get inputs on what they're doing right and what they're not doing. So I think we were pretty spot on.
Vince just used the term "them." We're not getting a them.
No, please.
I was trying to be all things to all people. All right, a round of applause for these people. These are the leaders of the church.
Thank you.
Madam President, do you want to take over your class?